Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know, like a smack at it. And as you can tell by today's thumbnail, yes, indeedy, I'm about to write graffiti all over the motherfucking bus. And in that fashion, what I'm talking about today are red rag Southsiders or sureños, whatever you want to call it, right? At the same time, in a menudo style, in a direct fashion, you need to understand that, yes, indeed, there are red rag sureños, right? So trip out. I remember my first time ever figuring it out or contemplating that there could be a fucking sureño that wore a red paño was a trip to me. You know, being from up north, Northern California, I was always used to norteños rocking the red paños, and I know there were varios back in the days that rocked black and burgundy and even blue to some point. You know, the vario gardons out there in Sacra at one point were rocking the blue paño, green as well. And I've been around a lot of individuals, a lot of individuals over the years, and in a menudo style motherfuckers that'll put you on your backsides. It didn't matter what kind of colors you wore. You know, a lot of fools, a lot of young bucks, a lot of individuals would press upon you. Hey, Sosuke, you're wearing an LA Dodger hat, gun. You're wearing a cowboy jersey. Sosuke, I said, hey, fuck you. I got money on them today, Wato. And in that fashion, right? It was not necessarily about colors to me. See, I wasn't laced that way. I wasn't indoctrinated that way. I was taught that it's all about the individual and what's inside here. The color that runs through your fucking sangre, homie. That's what it is. So that's all that matters. You know, of course, traditionally, red has always been a symbolization for the people, for the gente up north, and blue for the vatos down south. But some varios take it a different distance. You know what I mean? They take it a different mile. Vatorale. Walk some shoes in their miles, or the green mile, or the red or blue mile, right? And reason being is that's the color that their hood identifies with. You know, it might be a color that's rocked from way back. You know, and there are a lot of sureños that wear red. You know, I know vatos from Florencia that wear red. And, vatos trip out, they hit me up all the time. Chale, homie, Florencia don't wear red. They're from South Central LA. They're down there in Los, homie. They're rocking the blue. They're sureños, Southsiders. I said, Charlie, homie, yes, traditionally they do wear blue. Traditionally their vario is all blue and in that fashion. But at the same time, they had a beef that's been going on for several years with the East Coast Cripas. And because of that beef, a lot of them started to wear red, right? From certain clicas that were beefing with these individuals. And it was based on disrespect. It was just a sign of disrespect to these vatos. Sasuke, you guys wear blue. We're going to wear red just to kind of throw it off, vato. And in that fashion, right? And then you had vatos from Oxnard, vatos in Oxnard that wore red. Yes, indeed. I seen it with my own two eyes. Vatos that were wearing red, and I tripped out. And I'm talking about red paños around the neck. You couldn't tell the difference if they were norteños or sureños. The estilo was very similar, right? But yes, they did. And of course, one of the older varios from way back in the days, man, Culver City. You know, them Culver City boys to this day still rocking the red paños. That's just what they've done. Eastside Wilmas también. You know, having primos out there in Westside Wilmas, the harbor area, shout out, man. Real vatos doing real things in a real way. The east side of Wilmas does rock red paños. And there's several other groups. You know, you have the Red Steps out there in San Diego that wear red, and just a lot of different varios. There's so many more that I don't know of. And you got vatos that rock the amarillo, vatos that rock the verde, vatos that rock the turquoise, purple over there in Grape Street. I know they rocked a lot of the purple paños, but what's vario grape? And it's never been necessarily about colors, but it is. You know, the color is what identifies you as being to a certain group. You know, if you see some sangres, you already know they're flamed up. If you see some cripas, you already know what time it is, huh? Blue down, from head to toe. You see norteños, traditionally, they're going to wear red, and sureños traditionally blue. But like I say, traditionally, doesn't mean that's what always happens. So there have been many times when I've rocked a Bears jersey, a Cowboys jersey, Dodgers, and I just moved. So I was dodging. Vatos were shooting at me. I'm going to tell you a little story. Trip out on this story, So I have a primo from A-Town. My primo from A-Town. And for anyone that doesn't know, A-Town are considered upstate sureños. That whole little town, man, is predominantly sureños. Now there are some norteño gangs there nowadays. But back then, man, it was all sur, period. Plain and simple. That's just what it was. Merced County, 209, pero they were sureños rocking. And my primo was one of the first vatos to establish, the barrios, the sureños over there in Winton and Atwater. And there used to be beef between Merced and A-Town. It's ongoing, man. It's always been like that. It probably always will be, when cities hate each other, and then when you got norteños on one side, sureños, that just makes it even fucking worse, Hopefully this end to hostilities and this righteousness with the people pulling together, and uniting can stop some of that. But at the same time, the shit hasn't touched on the guys. Anyways, so my primo's my primo. He's my first cousin. His mother is my dad's sister. So one time I was staying at his pad, and I was going to go chill with the homeboys on the other side of town on the west, and I needed a sweater to rock, a hoodie, something. It was cold, and I didn't have my clothes at that time. My clothes were at my pad. I was at his pad. I was staying there for a week. I think I'd fought with my old lady or something. This was a long time ago, bro. I was like 19, 20 years old. But I was like, hey, Prims, let me borrow a fucking sweater. You know what I mean? Give me something. I'm about to mob. I was going to take off walking, and he was like, yeah, just grab one, man, here. And he threw me a fucking sweater, right? And it was a Bears. I remember it was a Bears sweater. So I figured, hey, so let's get fucky. You know what I mean? It's dark. I ain't tripping. And I'm mobbing, bro. I got this. I was stepping. Follow the yellow brick road. I was following the drip everywhere, right? I was mobbing. And I remember as I'm walking, I walk under this overpass, and I'm headed towards the west, toward the hood, to go chill with the homeboys. And I fucking see a car pass, a primered ass, beat up Regal. And I already know right off the top, that's the homeboy Little Man from the west. Not necessarily from my neighborhood, my barrio, but he's a vato from the west, well-known norteño. There's a lot of norteños always with him. He stays fucking packed in his car. They're on a good one, vato. They're on a mission. And it's late night, man. It's about midnight. So I'm mobbing. And all of a sudden, they pass me, and I'm kind of like, what's cracking? Thinking that they would recognize me, but it's dark. And then they hit the brake lights. They start backing up. So I stand my ground like, what's cracking, right? And they look, and they're like, who is that? And I'm like, it's gun, homie. What's happening? They're like, what are you doing, bro? And I said, what the fuck you mean I'm doing? I'm mobbing. Why, you guys going to give me a ride? They're like, hey, Charlie, homie, what's on your sweater? I said, orderly, the Bears. What's cracking, homes, right? And they're like, nah, fuck that, homie. What's on the back of it? And I look, and I take it off, and man, did my primo get me, man? A big old fucking Sureño Stress, right? A-Town. I said, oh, fuck, right? They were like, hey, we're about to hit you with the AK to settle the score. Big bullets at your door. No beef, no more, right? And I was about to say, and I said, what the fuck, right? I was like, damn, my primo did me dirty. I turned it inside out real quick. So I was good. No one's seen it, right? And I'm mobbing, and I take off pushing, man. The homeboys are like, damn, bro, you can't be rocking like that. Hold on now, man. Where were your motherfucking antennas, right? When I was wearing the Dodger jersey the other day, and in that fashion, right? So, quietly as it's kept, colors to me have never been a big deal. At that night, the words could have got me clipped. It wasn't necessarily the navy blue color I was wearing that I thought was black. I was a baboso at that time. It was the fucking letters. Okay. But like I said, man, I've been down south, man. Like I said, I was chilling with this Heine for a long time over there in Oxnard, man. And I seen Vatos wearing red, and I asked her, hey, there's norteños in Oxnard? She was like, Charlie, nah, those are sureños, but they wear red. Certain hoods wear different colors. And I told you guys about that in my 805 spill, my Chica spill, about the Vatos wearing the Cowboys jersey, Raiders, Rio, and then you had the South Oxnard wearing the White Sox. But yeah, man, it trips people out when they say, nah, Charlie, man, there's not no fucking Red Rag Sureños. Simon, there is. I'm here to tell you, bam, stamp that. They're fucking Red Rag Sureños, man. Like I said, Red Steps of San Diego, Culver City, well-known, Eastside Weedmas, several other vatos, Florencia even. And it tripped me out with Florencia because, see, the first vato I ever ran into Florencia was a vato named Crazy Boy. He had a big old F-13 right here. And the vato was crazy, just like his name said. Rest in peace. I hear he passed away, man. If he did, that was a good vato right there. Fucking funniest, one of the funniest individuals I ever met. We used to chop it up in CYA and Nellis, man. And he used to tell me, I ain't got no fucking problems with you, gun. I ain't got not a problem with you, homie. He said, mine amigos, the vato right there from Playboys. I'm about to rip his fucking rabbit ears off, right? This is how he felt. And the vatos from 18 and whoever else, they had so many enemies. But he was a righteous one, a real one, man. And, at that time, I always thought, these vatos were super sureño. When I say super sureño, creased up, pants up to here, vato, órale, that vato was don't. His mobilization was real, man. He was the definition of a Southsider, vato, and in that fashion. And I'm not trying to put a stigma and say they're a certain way, but vato, if you picture a Southsider, bald with the F-13, with the pants up to here, homie, just fucking sass, right? Menudo, that was him. And quietly as it's kept, to find out later on that some vatos in his barrio, regardless of the fact of why they were doing it, were rocking red, tripped me out all the way down to the red paño, you know. And for those of you that don't know, let me give you the history of why norteños wear red and sureños wear blue. Okay, so back in the pinta, back in the days, the 60s and 70s, they were distributed paños, right? And a lot of the paños they were distributed were red. So everybody on the yarda at that time had red paños, right? It was just something that they wore, homes on their head to wipe their sweat, so to blow their nose, you know, to scratch their ball, whatever the case may be. This was not a paño to differentiate colores. This was just a paño just to have. Vatos had him, like I said, they wrapped around their hand when they fucking hit someone, and they did a pegada, whatever. It was very useful. When the NF started to establish and break off, you know, and go from the Emmett to whatever they were doing, the Emmett as well as the Southsiders, once they were established, started to differentiate themselves. So they started to do colors just like Crips and Bloods, right? And because the norteños, there was always a lot of red rags, the sureños started to get the blue rags. And I don't know the fucking day it started and why. I'm just saying it was all about, so that was a civilization. We know that's them, this is us, and that's how they rocked in the pinta. And of course that gravitated towards the street, so the traditional colors became blue and red. And it's funny to me because it seems like a lot of the teams, the sports teams, adapted to that. You know, you don't know the powers that may be. The Babosos are smart, right? That's why they're rich and we're not, right? So it's good. You got the Niners, red. You know what I mean? You got the Dodgers, orale, blue. You know what I mean? You got the Chargers, Sasuke baby blue. You know what I mean? It's funny how these teams kind of like adapted. You know, it's weird, but at the same time, maybe it's just a coincidence. But maybe I'm just putting too much on it. Orale, conspiracy theory for the people, by the people, orale, in that fashion. But at the same time, what I'm saying is colors play a big part into gangs, right? And they don't. And what I mean by gangs is every time you think of a gang member, you're going to look right at him and, oh, this vato's all flamed up. He must be a norteño or a sangre. Oh, the vato got all the blue. You already know it's Southside on his, or he's crip walking. Orale, you know what I mean? Dub C. This is what people think. But Charlie, man, you could make a big misconception and get your motherfucking hat flattened, vato, and in that fashion. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when I was in Oxnard, I seen a vato wearing red. I almost approached him like, hey, what's up? You what's up? You a brother, right? I was also, God damn, homie, we're up short, right? And that would have been a big mishap on mine because this vato was a straight up Southsider, home day Oxnard, doing his thing, wiggling, you know? And I didn't see the big 13 behind his ear, but when I seen it, I said, what the fuck is that? I didn't know what was going on. Order, they got 13th Street North. I wasn't laced up like that. You know, later on in the years, as I became older, as I became wiser, as I became a man and indoctrinated into the game that I was fucking playing since I was a kid, I started to realize, right, that colors don't mean a thing. Now, they've always never meant a thing to me personally, but to other people, they do. You know, I've met a lot of homies that have set trip on colors. Like I said, man, hey, Gun, you're wearing a little too much blue. I said, well, you're wearing not enough. I thought in that fashion, fuck what you're talking about, right? But I still had the red paño. You know, I'd be wearing all blue, homie, blue Ben Davis shirt, tan Ben, blue chucks, y todo my, that's right, blue chucks, I said it, with a red paño in my fucking back pocket. And we used to play all them games, man. Don't let that red paño fall because you're going to get disciplined, right? And it's going to be an ugly one, you know? And I'm sure the sureños down south, the Southsiders, that there's no norteños anywhere fucking in hundreds of miles within them, don't trip. Whatever color identifies their neighborhood is how they're going to get down, you know? And that's where the red rag sureños come around. Like I said, Culver City's been doing it since they fucking started. They've always been red rag. Eastside Wilmas has been doing it for several years. Red Step's been doing it. You know what I mean? What do you think? What the Red Step? They're fucking going to rock the red paño, of course, and in that fashion. You know what I mean? And there's vatos that wear the blue too, you know, because they identify with the sur, but at the same time, man, they're going to identify with the hood. See, before you're from these organizations, norteños, sureños, or whatever the case may be, you're a fucking vato from your barrio first. That's how you get indoctrinated. That's how you get adapted into this lifestyle. So let's get first and foremost, burp, never could take it away from me. 730 fucking reasons why you can't. I've done in that fashion, you know. And then I start getting into the next steps of the norteños and the plight and all that, right? And that is what I'm no longer part of. I'm no longer rocking structured under that. But from my neighborhood, you can never take that from me, right? And so my neighborhood doesn't necessarily identify themselves as red paños. We identify ourselves with numbers, 730, or the guns, or whatever the case may be, symbolizations that we adapted to, right? But there are some barrios down south that use the color red to identify themselves, you know? And so, you know, I've seen it. You know, I've been down in Los, Whittier, Wilmas, like I said, I have familia out from the west side, which they do wear the blue on the west side and it's the red on the east side. Don't get it twisted, you know. Two different gangs, two different sides, right? Sometimes they'll have to be wiggling. But at the same time, this is just what it is, you know. And there's a lot of vatos, a lot of youngsters, a lot of gente that don't know, that are like, Charlie Gun, you got the game fucked up. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So you just bumped your head, vato. Your cabezas are wah, wah, wah. You're throbbing, vato. You bumped it. You bumped your fucking dome. Charlie, bro, you bumped yours. I'm about to bump it with some education right now. Watch how it bumps, right? 415s. And in that fashion. Quietly as it's kept, is the truth, man. Like I said, I stamped that. It is what it is. It's been going on for several fucking years, and it's going to keep going on, man. You can't take it away. Look at the thumbnail. Them vatos are so, what the? But they're wearing red, you know? And like I said, it's not about gang colors. It's not about Sasuke fucking Norte and Sur and this and that. Charlie has nothing to do with that, man. These Sureños are down there. Some of them never even seen a Norteño in their life. Now they're starting to see us on YouTube. Now they're starting to see vatos on Instagram, right? Sasuke, grandma and grandma. You know what I mean? They're starting to see it. But before, they never seen that shit. They didn't even know what a Norteño was. They just knew when they went in prison, those were the enemigas and they're supposed to fucking get off where they're mad at. And that's it. And most do. And in that fashion. But at the same time, man, colors was never a thing. In the Ferrari, the Jaguar, switching 4 lanes, colors ain't a thing. All right. Now, with the Crips and Bloods, a whole little bit of a different story. Remember, that's a different people. Those are the Africanos. Their rules and regulations and how they function with their people are different, right? ¿Sabes qué? But I know about those two that wear all blue, homie, with some red shoelaces. So what the fuck? You don't even match. Orale, red and blue makes green. What the in that fashion? Orale, okay, pimp. And that's what they're doing. The pandering game is real. But I just wanted to speak on it because, you know, I did a spill on it before my last channel about the Red Rag Southsiders, and I got a lot of feedback, you know, not negative. You know, vatos, hey, my body was black, my body was yellow, my body was pink, pink, yeah. Oh, well, fuck, you know what I mean? You guys are doing it, you know, that's kind of weird. But look, at the same time, well, if you guys want to dick ride and dick like, then handle your business over there, Pink Panther. But over here, we're talking about red and blue. The traditional colors, right? And the brown, you know, there's a lot of audios, brown pride Norteños, brown pride Sureños that wear brown, and that's a symbolization for the Chicano movement or for the Mexicanos or for a audio that audio, they just wear brown. What the? They're brown and proud. Want that chigazos, Simona se les get down, right? Rifamos, controlamos, whatever it is. I ain't mad at them. Like I said, to me, colors has never been a thing. And I learned over the years not to judge a motherfucker by what he wears, but to judge a motherfucker by his actions, right? And that's what you need to learn, because you could assume you could see a whole car about to wearing red. Don't, they're bumping Swifty Blue, orale. And you're like, what the fuck? The homeboys are getting down like that? Sasuke, they ain't your homeboys. Oh, no. Oh, no, there's going to be trouble. Yes, there's going to be trouble. You know what I mean? There could be some troubles because the vatos are from Culver City. You better watch out. In that fashion, order the Oxnard pushing, you know, and the same thing, you know, do you think it would make it easy for Norteños to go down there and wiggle in certain neighborhoods? And it is the truth, man. I've been down there flamed up about the walking around fucking Los, and no one even looked at me funny. I guess I was in the right neighborhoods, but they didn't even trip. I mean, they just kept on pushing. So watch out, neighborhood music. I'm going to the taco truck. You want one, eh? Charlie, yeah, you're wearing red anyway. You know what I mean? They weren't tripping. Nobody was tripping. And that's what it all comes down to, man. The judge of a character by the character he displays, not by the fucking clothes or the colors he wears. Now I know you say, "Gum," but you trip out the guys with the skinny pants and all that. You're judging them too. Fuck them in that fashion. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about none of that, bro. You know what I mean? Sasuke be I'm baggy, orale. You know what I mean? My balls are big, homes. In that fashion. Anyways, man, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, moving fast with a purpose is hustling. Go out there and get it, man. I hope you like the new little setup, man, for the people, by the people. You know what it is, man. I want to reiterate that in your head because that's what it's all about, man. Everything we do is for the people, by the people. We can only do it for ourselves. You already know what it is, man. At the end of the day, it's all love. The gun, bang, bang. Red Rag Southsiders will stand up. They're out there, homes. Don't sleep on them.